So we are starting today real numbers part 6. First, actually irrational numbers and rational numbers we already studied what are rational and irrational numbers in class 9. But again, briefly I am telling you what are rational numbers and what are irrational numbers. And irrational numbers cannot be, that rational numbers are those which can be written in the form of p upon q, where q is not equal to 0 and p, q are integers, or in terms of decimals, they are terminating decimals or non-terminating repeating decimals. And irrational numbers are in terms of decimal representation, we can say non-terminating non-terminating non-repeating decimals are non-repeating decimals are irrational numbers. So in decimals, if it is written in decimals, but generally all prime numbers, if p is a prime number, if p is a prime number, p is a prime number, then under root p will always be an irrational number. Under root p is an irrational number. It is an irrational number always. So, for example, we can say under root 2, under root 3, under root 5, under root 7. So all are irrational numbers. And we prove one of the theorem, fundamental theorem of arithmetic, that every composite number can be expressed as the product of its rational, as the product of its primes. So any, you can say that if 20 is written, why we are not writing 20 can be written in terms of its prime factors 2, 2, into 2 to 5. So this is root 2, we can say root 2, root 2, root 5. So every composite number can be expressed in terms of the root of prime numbers as per the fundamental theorem of arithmetic that we have seen already. Today we will see one more theorem which is not having any name, but it is very important theorem that is in our textbook. It is theorem number 1.3, but it will be used. Actually, what is in our course, we have to prove that root 2 is an irrational number. We are going to prove any irrational number. Any given number is an irrational number. So in that proof, we will use this theorem. So the theorem says that let P be a prime number. Let P be a prime number. Any prime number. P can be any prime number. And if P, this prime number, suppose 2, 3, or 5, any number, if P divides, this prime number is dividing, it divides a square. Suppose P is dividing a square, then this P will also divide. I used to write this, I'm changing somewhat language here. So P will also divide A. Means if P is dividing A square, this will divide A also, where A is a positive integer. A is a positive integer. So we don't have the proof, just we will use this theorem for proving under root 2 is an irrational number. So listen carefully, this proof. Maybe this is not the purely mathematical proof. So we are going to prove the anyone in root 2, root 3, root 5 is an irrational number. So our question is prove that root 5 is an irrational number. Root 5 is an irrational number. This we have to prove that irrational number. There are some proofs which are called contradictory proof. We can say that they are said to be contradictory proof. In contradictory proof, we are proving many theorems. We are proving by contradictory proofs. In contradictory proofs, whatever we have to prove, we will let opposite of that. Suppose we have to prove it is an irrational number, we will suppose it is a rational number. So we will suppose opposite of that given proof. Whatever we have to prove, we will suppose opposite of that one, and then we apply some theorems, some formulas, some facts. We will apply some facts or some theorems or some results of mathematics, and we reach to the conclusion that is not possible. We reach to the conclusion which is not possible. Suppose we get 1 is equal to 2, which is not possible. So like that, some conclusion, impossible conclusion, we reach to the impossible conclusion. So that proves that conclusion proves that our supposition was wrong. Hence, whatever we suppose that was wrong, that means the correct one was the correct proof. Got it? So this is the way of proving. So similarly here we have to prove that under root 2 is an irrational number. So we will suppose that it is a rational number. Okay. So we will let under root 5 is a rational number. Let under root 5 is a rational number. When it is a rational number, it will follow all the properties of rational number. Will follow the properties of rational number. Okay, it will follow the properties of a rational number because we have supposed that it is a rational number. Okay, here as it is a rational number, so it can be written as, therefore let we can say that suppose under root 5, when it is a rational number, this implies that under root 5 will be equal to P upon Q, integers P upon Q, where P and Q are co-primes. P and Q are co-primes, and Q is not equal to 0. P and Q are integers. That also you can write, but main important thing is where P and Q are co-primes. I will tell you what are co-primes. So P and Q are integers, and P, that is there in the, according to the definition, integers, and Q is not equal to 0. This is also there. So it is obvious. If you will not write this, it will go. Just you can write where P and Q are co-primes. Co-primes are those numbers which have HCF, two prime numbers which are having HCF as 1. They are called co-primes. So if HCF is 1, means there is no common number between them, then they are called co-primes. Okay. After this, what we will do, we will square both the sides. Squaring both sides. Squaring both sides, we get 5. Root 5 square is 5. Root 5 square will become 5, and right hand side it will become P square upon Q square. P square upon Q square. Okay, got it? Then we can say that now we can write 5Q square is equal to P square, or you can write Q square is equal to P square upon 5. Now you can see right hand side, P square upon 5 means P square divided by 5. You are getting some number Q square. So from this we can say that 5 divides P square. 5 divides P square. P square is P is a prime number, and you can see that P be a prime number and P divides A square. So 5 divides P square. So as per this theorem 13.1, we can say that P divides A when P is dividing A square. So P will also divide A. Similarly here, when 5 is dividing P square, so 5 will also divide. So we used to write like this: 5 divides P. Okay. So when 5 is dividing P, that means 5 if 5 divides P means 5 will be a multiple of P will be a multiple of 5. When 5 divides P means P is a multiple of 5. So we will let that P is equal to 5 M. M is any integer. M is any integer. So when this is P is equal to 5M, now we can substitute in the first. Now put this P is equal to 5M in equation number 1. So the equation number 1, 5 is equal to, this P is replaced by 5M P square upon Q square. and solve this, we will get 5 is equal to 25 m square upon q square, and this 25 will come here, and 5 we can multiply, divide by 5, so this will become 5 m square. Q square will be equal to 5 m square, or you can say q square upon 5 is equal to m square. Okay, and we have seen the same thing, that 5 divides q square here. Here again the theorem, according to the theorem, here 5, which implies that 5 divides q square. So according to the theorem, 5 divides p q, sorry, 5 divides q. So when 5 divides p as well as 5 divides q, so that means they don't have their HCF as 1, they have common factors. They are not prime, which shows that when 5 is from these two, it is concluded that 5 is dividing, 5 divides both p and q. We have proved that 5 divides both p and q. When any number dividing both p and q, that means p and q are not prime numbers. As I told you, co-primes. The co-primes are those numbers which cannot be divisible by any other number. They have only common factor 1. I'll give you one example. For example, 3 by 5. 3 by 5 are prime numbers. But if you will multiply them, 2 3s are 6, 2 5s are 10. 6 by 10. 6 by 10, they are divisible by 2. So these are not, 6 and 10 are not prime, co-primes, and 3 and 5 are co-primes. So when HCF, so when 5 dividing both the numbers, this shows that P and Q are not co-primes. P and Q are not co-primes, and that is opposite to our supposition. We suppose that P and Q are co-prime, but we have proved that P and Q are not co-prime, because we have taken under root 2 is rational number. When under root 5 is a rational number, then P and Q are not co-prime. That means our supposition was wrong, hence under root 2 is an irrational number. Here we used to write, therefore, hence, you can also write which is a contradiction. Contradictory proof, here you can write which is a contradiction, means whatever we suppose, we have reached to the opposite thing, which is a contradiction. In every question at last, these words you have to write, which is a contradiction, or supposition was wrong. Whatever we suppose that was wrong, our supposition was wrong, hence under root 2, sorry, 5, under root 5 is an irrational number. Under root 5 is an irrational number. So all proofs will be like this. Once you will prove this is, after this you will write, after this you have to write from here, and after this you will write from here. Okay, so like this we have to prove. So again, see the proof. Under root 2, we will suppose under root 2 is a rational number, and we will suppose it must be equal to, when it is a rational number, it must be equal to the ratio of the two prime numbers, co-primes, they are co-primes, and squaring both sides, then use this theorem 1.3, and here 5 divides p square, so 5 will divide p, so that means p is a multiple of 5, so we will take 5m. When you have to prove root 2, it will be p will be equal to 2m, and substituting in equation 1, which will show that p also divides q. 5 also divide q. So when 5 divide both p and q, then p and q are not co-primes, which is a contradiction. Our supposition was wrong. Hence, under root 2 is an irrational number proved. This is proved. In our textbook, theorem number 1.4, that is a question actually. And example number 9, prove that root 2 is an irrational number. And then exercise 1.3, question number 1. So these are proved by this way. As I told you that only if you have given the pure irrational number, root 3, root 5, then only you will prove by this method. Otherwise, you have to do another method that we are going to do. Suppose if you have written root 3 by 2, then you will not do by the contradictory proof. So how we will do if it is not like this? So we are taking one example again. So here now we have to prove that, show that, suppose first we will take subtraction, then addition, and then multiplication, a number with irrational number. So we have to show that 5 minus root 3 is irrational. Is irrational, no? This is our example number 10. So here we will start with the contradictory. Let 5 minus, starting will be same, 5 minus root 3. This is also a contradictory proof, but that theorem will not be used. That p divides a square, p divides a will not be used here. Simple, we reached to the simple conclusion here. How I'll tell you. So here, let 5 minus root 3 be a rational number. Be a rational number. Then we can write 5 minus root 3 will be equal to p upon q, where p and q are co-primes, but this co-prime will not play any role here. Like the previous question, they are co-primes and q is not equal to 0. Now what we will do, we will try to solve in this way that irrational number means root 2. Actually, why we are not going by that way? Here under root 2, we can consider as irrational number. We have to prove 5 minus root 3 is irrational number. But under root 3 is already irrational number. That we can use here. That property we can use here because they are not going to ask under root 3 is an irrational number. So what we will do, we will keep root 3 one side and other numbers we will bring one side. So we can write, if we bring right hand side 5, so this will become p by q minus 5, and this minus also, if we want to remove minus, multiply both sides by minus 1. So this root 3, it will become plus root 3 and 5 will become plus, and p by q will become minus. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then right hand side will be solved. This will be the procedure of doing these type of question. Root 3 is equal to, then we will write 5q minus p upon q. Okay, now we reach to the conclusion. What? Right hand side 5q, q is a prime number, 5q minus p is a prime, 5q minus p is a prime number or integer. So integer upon integer is a rational number, but left hand side is an irrational number. So what we can say that this is under root 3 is what? Irrational number, correct? Because we have given already that under root 3, we know that under root 3 is a irrational number. So left hand side we are getting irrational number, and right hand side we are getting rational number, which is impossible. Irrational. No. is left hand side is irrational number, right hand side is rational number, which is impossible. Rational cannot be equal to irrational number, which is impossible, and which is a contradiction. This is a contradiction, or which is a contradiction. This is a contradiction, that our supposition was wrong. This is a contradiction. Our supposition was wrong. Our supposition was wrong. Hence, 5 minus root 3 is irrational. True. So like this we will do. So keep in mind, if you will start by doing that method, this question, you will not get the marks. So remember that if you have only pure surd, that is called pure surd, there is no number with any rational number, then we will go by the previous method. And if any number is there with the root number, the prime root of the prime number, that is a rational number, then we will do by this.